Sometimes we close our eyes and our imagination brings us there. It gets us thinking again. Imagination can be a really powerful thing. But at the end of the day, we still have to live in reality.
I think what took me over the edge was when I was 18. I got held up at gunpoint for the first time.
It was just sat on the bridge, and I just remember just being so angry that I was seeing a normal couple, a nice couple. I just walked over and I just lamped this lad, like, just for no reason. You know, I just hit him. I can't even remember. I was drunk. I mean, I can't remember it all, but I remember just hitting him.
One of my friend's sister knows how much money they got over there and all the rest of it. So we hit it, got the money out, but everything went wrong, and the cops came around because they were kind of watching us and that.
I think for me that secondary school became a place where the kind of cliche story that you hear about people getting mixed in with the wrong crowd, you know, you hear it all the time. Even though I went to school, I went to quite a good school, I went to a grammar school, but actually most of my friends weren't in the school, they were outside the school and from all the other schools around that I was close to. And so yeah, I ended up getting involved with different gangs, and yeah, just kind of took a bit of a spiral downhill from about the age of 14 to 15 really for me.
I was typically a target for bullies, and I became a victim of bullying, and it was day in, day out for my whole time at school. My mum and dad were just constantly at war, conflict, arguments, fights, all the time. My dad would go out drinking, come in drunk, my mum would get on his case and they would just be at loggerheads. There's times I just wanted to disappear. I actually hated being at home. So I did all I could to stay out of the house as much as I could. I tried to persuade friends for me to stay over at their house majority of the time. They sat me down. I remember my mum said, "Adam, I need to tell you something. Me and your dad are getting divorced. He's leaving today and he's not coming back." And that just broke something in me. It set this. It's like if you can imagine pulling back a catapult until it can't go back anymore, letting go. It's just gonna fire and it's gonna go far. And there was just this release inside of me, this explosion, and I turned into something that I hated.
I definitely consider myself being a violent person. I guess back then, I know you probably don't look at it now and stuff like that. A lot has changed, but I think growing up in Sunderland especially, it's kind of inbuilt. You know, the schools were very rough. You know, I can't speak for everyone's home life, but it's certainly from the area I lived, you know, it was a lot of broken families, you know, very, you know, kind of don't show emotion, don't cry, none of that crap. You know, you had to kind of, on the streets where you're from, you know, you're always getting involved in fights and stuff. But, you know, I think a lot of it stems from your home life, you know, especially having a father, if you were lucky enough to have a father at home. First of all, that's the thing, but especially, you know, my dad was ex-army, that sort of mentality, you know, kind of, you know, always resolved issues by, you know, we'll just go and hit him.
It was four of us, and they found money. The money was in the glove compartment and all the rest of it. They found guns in the car. I got 8.5 years, because like they put me as the ringleader and all the rest of it. So then I had to do my time in prison. You can keep your mouth shut and you just do your time. You're cool, but it's hard to keep your mouth shut too, because people will ask you questions and like, yo, who you know. If you open your mouth to talk, then things will throw at you. Sometimes, you know, people get themselves in predicament and you're gonna get beat up, and you know, or probably you're gonna owe some money or whatever it is, you're gonna owe some, weed, whatever it is, you're gonna maybe either, if your man is truly something, he doesn't even need to voice his opinion to say who he is. If a gangster is truly a gangster, doesn't need to tell people, oh, I'm a gangster, I'm this and that. Or if a rich man is very rich, he doesn't tell people that I'm rich because he knows he's rich. You know, he doesn't tell you how much money he's got because he knows he's got it.
I was taken hostage in an armed robbery, which was petrifying. You know, it was scary when you've got a masked man stood in front of you with a gun in your face, and there's 3 men all together with 2 other men with machetes and guns. It's kind of intimidating when you're looking down the barrel of a gun. I was the only lad working, the rest were girls. So they were wanting to get in the safe. They put me face first on the ground. They put the gun to the back of my head. And he said, open the safe or I'm going to blow your head off. So I said, I can't do that. And he said, don't lie to me, I'll kill you. But he didn't end up doing anything. He didn't get into the safe. He got away. I remember from that day on, I made like an inner vow in my heart that nobody was gonna push me about, nobody was gonna bully me, nobody was gonna hurt me again. So I went from somebody who was bullied to somebody who people wouldn't want to cross.
At the time I was actually engaged to a girl. Yeah, but then unfortunately she was raped and stuff, and I remember feeling how horrible I felt afterwards and how fearful, and I remember just feeling that's my girlfriend or that she was mine, you know, like he's violated her, I guess, so to speak. And then, you know, I guess at that age, you know, we're not having any family, I felt as though I could talk to. Our relationship was effectively ruined. I kind of made it my mission to find this person. You know, I used to think, you know, my best plan to this day was to find him and set him on fire. Douse him in petrol and set him on fire. And that sounds stupid, but then there'd be no evidence left. That's how messed up my mind was, you know. It's crazy, you know. So I guess that's kind of the scale of, I guess, where I was, you know, back then.
So I was having this guy and that, and then all of a sudden, all his friends came around. There were like 20 of them. And they came around and that, you know what I'm saying, we started fighting, and like they had me, because I can't fight with 20 people. I was getting some of them, but they were hitting me more than I was hitting them. I run one guy that he had a knife in his hand and that. I was so mad, I didn't even care he had a knife in his hand, I was just whacking him in that. And when I turned my back, another guy came from the back of me and whacked me on my head and that. Blood gushing down my head and all the rest of it in there. And I turned my back on this guy. When I turned my back on this guy was about to stab me in the back of my neck and almost kill me, man.
When I pulled up there, this car pulls right up next to me. They know me, they know who I am, and they're looking for the guy who's with me in the car at the time. So I have to tail off straight away, get on the curb. I know exactly who it is. And he's like, you gotta go, drive. So we just ended up driving, and we were sweating, man. There was like 5 of these guys in the car, all drug dealers. You know, these are guys that deal guns in Manchester. I mean, I was just overtaking cars left, right, and centre, and it was just, our hearts were just going crazy. And eventually, after about 10 minutes, this car was bumper to bumper. I'm talking like right up the backside, like 100 miles an hour, like right on my tail. And eventually, we just got onto the motorway, and they turned off because they just knew that they couldn't get us again. But it was a reminder for me at the time that, you know, the lifestyle wasn't for me. It wasn't what I wanted, and dealing and all the rest of it, it looks good at the time when you get into it, but when you really get into it, you see it for what it really is.
At that moment, the adrenaline, the anger was still there. I actually knocked every single one of them out. There were bodies laid all over the pavement, all over the road. Just people had to step over bodies to get away. And the police turned up. They rushed me from behind. So they threw me to the floor and they handcuffed my hands behind my back. And I remember saying to the policeman, you better take these cuffs off me now. And the policeman said to me, he said, those handcuffs are not coming off until you get back to the police station. You've done enough damage.
He always gives, he always gives. And so when I look at the example of Jesus giving his life when he went on the cross, for me, there's no greater love than that. How can you give more than your very own life for the people that don't care about you, don't believe you, don't want to hear your message? But yet Jesus had such a love. It was like the total opposite of what our society holds on to today. I used to live like that. That was my whole life. My whole life was living around, doing what you feel. I used to go out, spend crazy amounts of money, do drugs, sleep around. I've done all that. I've lived that life. No one can tell me they've lived a more immoral life than me. They haven't.
It was great to catch up with Corey. I'd not seen him for like a year and a half, so it was good to catch up with him. He told me about some of his beliefs and stuff, and then one night they had a life group, which was 2 days after I moved up. So they told me about this Jesus. It kind of made sense, but there was still something there. It was like, well, it's a bit hard to believe in. If God was real, then why would all this happen in my life? Why would all this bad stuff happen if God was real?
I think sometimes we live in such a secular society that we're afraid to even be vulnerable to the fact that we ask these sort of questions. But these are real questions that people really ask. These are the deep questions of every person's heart. And just because we get in social environments where not everybody's talking about these things doesn't mean that isn't the deep desire of our heart. And if people are asking those questions, I encourage them, cry out to Jesus, because he really answers that prayer. He really sees your heart. If your heart wants to know truth, if you want to know whether this Jesus is a living reality, just cry out to him. Ask him from the bottom of your heart.
As they were praying, in my mind, I'm just thinking, what am I doing here? They're all crazy. They've all lost the plot. This is weird. So basically, as they were praying, and all these thoughts were going through my head, I had this encounter, which all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I felt this immense presence, and I felt the power of God, which I now know as the power of God. It just out like a lightning bolt out of the blue. It just hit me. I've never felt anything like it in my life, and I felt this power. It was like I was being electrocuted. I felt this power surging through my body, to the point where I couldn't help but breathe deeply and heavily, and I felt like I was going to pass out. After everybody finished praying, I remember saying to everybody, did anybody else feel that?
Sometimes we don't want no one telling us what to do. I mean, kids, when they don't like their parents trying to tell them, oh, do this all the time, and they get mad, oh, don't tell me, it's my own life, what do you want to do? But the fact is that we all gotta make choices. And the only good choice is giving everything to God.
Like 2 or 3 people who I knew, like well, 2 of them now are dead, unfortunately, like good friends. At the time, you know, like one lad took ecstasy and just didn't wake up. You know, it's to this day haunts us, because if I knew God, if I knew what happened to me now, I could have shared it with him, you know, give him a chance, you know. That was awful. He's just dead, you know.
So here I am, Piccadilly train station in Manchester, with my dad, who bought me a one-way ticket to move up to Newcastle, because I had to get out of Manchester. I just remember walking through the train station with my dad. I remember looking at the screens, hearing all this noise, the tannoys and all these other people around me, and it felt so surreal. I couldn't believe this was happening, and it was at that moment that I realised just how much of a mess my life was, that I was leaving my family in Manchester and leaving everything behind, because if I stayed, I'd have probably ended up dead. So I was just such a broken man. My dad, for the first time, broke down into tears. I'd never seen him cry before. And he just threw his arms around me and he hugged me. And I remember I remember that time that my dad said that he loved me. And that's all I'd ever wanted to hear my whole life.
I've not been a Christian for a long time. The little thing I know about God is, very small I know about him is that he's a lover. And a lover never gets tired. And sometimes we try to work for him. But he's not looking for workers, he's looking for lovers. A lover will give everything. He doesn't care whether it's, you know what I'm saying, whether it's paid for or whatever. He's going to give it because he's cut in love. His heart is aching. He just want to love and love and love and love. He can't do nothing.
When I've lived in the bottom, when I've lived at the bottom of the barrel, when I've lived at the bottom of society, I was counted amongst those people that you wouldn't turn an eye to. You would hope that a scumbag like me would rot and bury in jail. That's the sort of person that I was. That's the sort of people that we all were. But you know what? There's hope for people like me. And I look at people who are in a similar situation, and I know that there is a hope. I know that his name is Jesus, that actually there is hope for any person, no matter, I don't care how low they are, I don't care how far away from society, the realms of society that we all look to, you know, as being the sort of good person, the nicey person. Actually, you could have the worst of the worst, and that's what I've been. That's what we've all been in this. We've been the worst of the worst. But actually, when Jesus got hold of us, he turned us around and he showed that he can make the very worst the very best. And that's what I thank God for in my life. And that's what every single one of us thanks God for.
God loves you than what you can even think or imagine. Because if he loves me, he definitely loves you.